Hey, 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 Dota 2 fans, and welcome back to the Trent and Zyori podcast. This is episode number 161. We're back again. It is July 21st, 2020. Every other Tuesday. That's our little pattern we've got going here, and I want to keep this going as long as possible. Trent, buddy, how you feeling? How's this Tuesday been treating you?
It's good. Tuesday is always a fun day in the COVID house because it's grocery day. You know, only do groceries once a week now to be good citizens and whatnot. So,
Wow. Wait, you guys actually have a preordained day to buy groceries?
yeah.
Wow.
To be fair, it's because there's a student
Wow.
discount at Sobeys, and since my wife's back at school doing another degree, we get the discount now. So you bet we're getting that discount. You're buying a week's
Jesus.
worth of groceries, you're getting the discount. You know,
I mean, I feel you. All right, okay. That
gotta
makes
get the percents.
makes a little more sense. All right. We go haphazardly. Now I'm self-conscious about my grocery shopping habits. We just go and we open the fridge and go, "You want to go to the store? We got nothing." "Yes, please. Let's buy some vegetables." And then we get in the car and fucking go.
Well, before COVID, I like shopping like every second day. I really like fresh veggies, but
I'm with you on that.
unfortunately, it's not really possible.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Good Samaritan Trent over here. So every 2 weeks, what did we miss in the last 2 weeks, buddy? We've got 7.27, 7.27A, B, and is there even a C now?
There is a C.
I think there is. Ooh. So we've got some patch notes to talk about. I don't think when did the first one come out? When did 7.27 actually drop? How come they don't date these fucking things? Are you serious? They actually don't put dates on it. All right.
They're dated on the wiki. I don't know. We talked about 7.27,
Okay.
but we did not talk about the hero patch after for B.
Okay. All right.
Right?
I think that sounds correct. Yeah, I'm looking back. The first one was a while ago. That was where we increased hero, last hit, gold, XP.
Yeah.
Moved all the creeps around, the big time map changes. A was the little tweak I think we also talked about that added the recipe gold to Monkey King bar, and it added some extra gold to the recipe of Helm of the Dominator. 7.27B, this was the hero patch. Couple of item tweaks. Echo Saber gets to be disassembled. More gold on that recipe of the Monkey King bar, and then we got all of these sweet, sweet hero changes. So I guess that's one big topic that we can dive into. We've been relatively free of drama, though, for the last week or two. It's been nicely quiet. Not many tournaments, not much news, not a hell of a lot going on, and I'm pretty okay with that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Dota is good. I would like more Dota. That part I would like a little bit more. In terms of tournaments that did wrap up, we had the one esports that finished up, the
True.
C League that just finished like 2 days ago.
Yep.
Which Geek Fam actually won, so pretty huge for that award. I feel like they haven't won a lot of even big like online tourneys versus some of like that included a lot of the bigger teams. Typically, you see them in the finals versus like Boom or someone like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to pull up the one esports here. I did not watch any of this event. It was kind of a long one. Online, $100,000, went from June 18th to July 19th. And
It's pretty much exactly off your sleep schedule, I think.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I've been going to bed early too. You know, last night I went to bed at 9 p.m. and I woke up today at 5 a.m. I am
bet
an
that
old
felt good.
person. It did. I slept amazing. I woke up
Yeah.
in the same position I fell asleep in. I think it was the best night's sleep I've had in ages. To be old. So what is the Geek Fam roster right now? You might be asking yourself. Raven, Carl, Cuckoo, Zephyr, and Whitemon. So I think they've had this roster for a while. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. They had one change. I'm trying to remember who was the most recent guy. I guess it was just Whitemon was the most new guy. That was back in January. So yeah, for the most part, been very stable.
And how has this T1 lineup been? Because Farev has been on this squad. I remember he teased that on the podcast we did. And right now, Miracle, In Your Dream, Farev, Yoakum, and Pelosin.
This was one of their bigger prize pools. They came first in 2 other tournaments, the Hephaestus Cup and then the Sea Dota Invitational, which were both considered tier 3, which I think just means it didn't have a lot of the bigger teams in it. But you know, 4th place is not bad. I think they're aiming to be higher than that. Like, I mean, it's kind of like, you came behind TNC, Fnatic, and Geek Fam, so it's not bad. The lineup's going up. They're trying to separate themselves from the pack of like Adroit, Reality Rift, Boom, that whole crew. I think, right?
Okay. They ended up fourth, only $7,000 prize with 100K. It is pretty top heavy. They didn't do that great in the groups, 7th out of 10, but they made a run in the lower bracket and actually got eliminated by Geek Fam, and the series did go 2-1. T1 took the first game, so there's something to be proud of there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I watched the lower bracket matches and then the grand final, and TNC unfortunately is still like. I don't know. Like they 2-0 Geek Fam, and then they got 2-0'd by Geek Fam, and that's just how it goes. That I just feel so bad for that team. Like you win the first major, and that I feel like that changes so much about your plans for the whole year.
Yeah, totally.
Like it changes
100%.
Everything. You're guaranteed to go to TI, and then that year just evaporates in front of your face.
Yeah, definitely, dude. It
sucks. So very unfortunate for them, but they're on the way back up.
Wasn't that J-Storm? They didn't win a major, I don't think, but same general conundrum where you place well enough early on, it sets you up for the whole goddamn circuit. You're like, okay, boys, we're cemented. We get penalized heavy for changing rosters. I hope we like each other. Everyone's looking at Fear like business associate. Ha 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 ha. That's just a joke right now. Little do we know that's going to become all too real in the not too distant future.
The life. But yes, alas, TI is still a mystery of the future. So for now, we continue the online tournaments, and Geek Fam get a much deserved win. Been a roster that's been on the rise. Obviously, some players you guys are well familiar with. Especially Raven played out of his mind. I'm sure you saw several people talking about that. He was extremely good. It's definitely a good hard carry patch. Raven has shown a lot of promise on that role in the past. Cuckoo was unbelievable in a lot of the games I watched. That guy is insanely skilled.
Yeah.
So it was a pleasure. Their support duo, I thought Zephyr and Whitemon also played really well in a lot of their games.
So one of the things that was kind of cool from the little bits that I watched, they had remote casters, or Lyrical and Winter and Owen and Fogged. Yep. But then they also had an on-site panel that was hosting a lot of it with Danilee and then 2 local casters. I guess Husky and Arthur. I'm not familiar with either of them. I like Arthur is a badass name. I'm Arthur. I hope that's his name. No, it's not. His name is Leon Lee, but his handle is Arthur. He's like the guy from DreamHack, Milton. His real name's Michael, but his handle is Milton. So everybody calls him Milton, but they think that's his real name because his handle is just another first name.
I always thought that was his name.
No, his name's Michael.
Wow. Maybe that's why I never get invited to DreamHack events.
Because you called him Milton too many times.
Does he not know?
Oh, God. That's awesome. But it seemed like they did a pretty good job. It was nice to see Danilee again. She's hosted a couple events. I think she lives in Malaysia, and last I talked to her was 2 years ago, I think, at the Battle Arena grand opening, and I remember she lived not that far away from the venue, like a 30-minute cab ride or something. So it was just like a cool local event for her, and I think she was working for the EGG network, the 24/7 esports channel there. Yeah, it seems like a pretty good gig. I mean, it's a full-time TV channel. I think it's a loose equivalent to like what we think of as G4.
Yes.
That's, they've got gaming shows and personalities, and I think they also just buy rights to tournaments and stuff and run. I remember last time I was in Malaysia, I was watching reruns of an old Dota tournament on TV, like cable TV in the hotel.
Yeah, same. I remember that too. I remember being like, "Hey, we're on TV."
Yeah. That was weird. That was really weird. So you don't even know. It's like, man, if only we were unionized. I feel like I should be getting some royalties for this right here. I should be getting my 10 cents per view or something. What's going on?
The future for sure.
Yeah.
But in terms of the future, actually, we do have a couple of tournaments starting up fairly soon. I know there's a little bit of a lull for this whole week. It's been weird not being able to just turn on some good dotes.
It is weird. I was talking to some sponsors the last couple of weeks, and a few of them said at the beginning of the month, we all know that July is not going to be great for events or betting, and I didn't really understand what they meant. And then I found out what they meant. Everybody knew, except for me, I guess, that there would be just no tournaments. We've got the Great American Rivalry, and then we had some of the one esports event that just wrapped up, and that's kind of it. Now, we do have Dota Pit coming up in, I think, exactly a week's time. They're going to be doing another European event, but it's only 4 days, so it's actually not that much.
It's kind of
Dota.
like a LAN. 27, 28, 29, 30th. Yeah.
Yeah, but although I think that's the middle of the week, isn't it? Am I crazy?
Well, you know.
It is.
Still.
It's a Monday through Thursday. So
it's a pretend LAN.
And we've got some ESL 1 stuff coming up in August. And then there's this big Omega League. So what is this shit, dude? Tell me about the Omega League. All right, surely you've got the inside scoop on this thing.
I did not know about the Divine and this other stuff.
So they've got an Immortal League, for 500K, a Divine League for 50K, and an Amateur League for $500,000. $31,000.
I don't know anything about the smaller leagues. I do know for the big league, that's going to be like, you know, your top dog teams. They're all invited with 2 qualifiers.
I'm sorry, that's not amateur. That's America's. I thought the AM was amateur. No. So it's 31K for America. And then Divine is EU. Okay, so it's EU Divine and EU Immortal. Jesus Christ. That's really where we're at in the state of Dota. Europe gets 2 leagues, one for 500,000. The Divine League in Europe is 50,000. The full-blown American League is 31,000. Fucking hell. If that is not indicative of everything I have been bitching about for the last 5 podcasts in a row, I swear to God. And not that it, was a snipe or anything, but Jesus, dude. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. It is half the prize pool of the what is the Divine League even? Who are these rascals?
Why does it say TBD for the mid of EG? Are they just assuming that Abed won't play? I guess they're just assuming that he won't play with lag from there.
I mean, remember this doesn't start for another 3 weeks, so
yeah.
I don't know.
Funny. I guess they just know that he's not necessarily in Europe right now, so they're assuming that he won't, which is fair.
I mean, listen, Trent, the wiki uses sources, and they only use data that is confirmed. So if it's not confirmed, you get a big fat TBD, buddy. That's the sign of a good service. But yeah, this Omega League is pretty awesome. 500K. I think it's in combination with WePlay and what is Epic Esports events? Is that
that's
Epicenter. Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. So WePlay and Epicenter coming together, and then also the announcement was weird because it was like partnering with the teams. So did you notice that? Did you see the way the teams announced it? It wasn't just a regular tournament. It was announced as, hey, we're proud to be partnering with all of these teams to make this event possible, which to me almost implied there's some team ownership or something. Like there's some level of involvement beyond just we're playing for prize pool. Maybe I'm mistaken there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the idea. I mean, I guess the tier 1 teams probably just all got together and decided what they wanted to do to replace TI, pretty much, right?
Oh, okay. Except, without Valve. So it's just
that's what I mean, though. That's the idea. Is they wanted hey, how do we get a big fat paycheck? No, I know it's not gonna be millions or whatever, of course, but what can we do? How can we capitalize on the lack of TI in our benefit right now?
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Well, somebody was going to fill this time slot, right? This has previously been, and hats off to Europe and CIS for being the ones to do it, because these were previously untouchable dates. This is the exact window when you would leave for TI, maybe a little earlier if you're talent or doing content. And September 5th is pretty darn close to when events would start up again after the nominal 2 weeks, 3 weeks off after TI's done. So
yeah, it's interesting how they're doing it too, because WePlay's doing the English and Epic's doing the Russian, but I feel like these two usually are pretty big competitors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that they're making that work.
Now,
I'm also be curious
who's
to see what
casting
the
this?
sponsorships like too.
Have you been invited, buddy? Have you been contacted? I
I
haven't.
can't say anything about it.
I wish I could not say anything about it, but I have nothing to say. I would like to cast it. Throw my name in the hat, bud.
There is Yeah, I can't say anything about it.
All right. Well,
Yeah, my lips
know.
are sealed.
If there is a sorting hat, so to speak,
I'll chuck you in, bud.
More like a goblet of fire, I suppose.
It's your best chance.
Big fan here. Now, I wonder though, because it's We Play, will it be LAN coverage? Is it going to be like the talent crew in Ukraine? Are they going to be the primary casters or coverage crew? I would guess that's probably likely. Is Kyle still in Ukraine? Maybe that is the answer to our questions here. Is the answer yes to that?
Can you yes, as far as I know.
A Twitter confirmation? Okay, then that'll be fun.
I really think Kyle's probably organizing all of this again.
Gotcha.
That's
all right.
That's all I'll say.
Maybe shoot
I don't want to give away any of their stuff though, because
text message over.
Big tournament, so.
Cool. Well, congratulations, bud. We're all real happy for you.
What? No, I don't even know if I'm doing it. Don't get too excited for me.
Okay. All right.
Don't worry.
I'm sure you and Lyrical are gonna nail it. Don't worry.
Got him.
It'll be cool though. A nice big event and 2 TBD teams. So some qualifiers. There's going to be some closed qualies.
Oh, I wonder when those are. Yeah, those will be fun to watch. That's a big tournament to try and get into.
So those are actually somewhat soon. August 1st through 9th. Yeah, 16 teams. Hellraisers, Viking, Unique, Empire, Bait, Cyber Legacy, and then...
Oh my god, and they have qualifiers to get into that.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Okay, now we're talking. This is a lot of Dota.
Okay, and those start July 28th. They're going to be competing with Dota Pit. So that's exciting.
I mean, the teams are like, they have like a Balkan and Greece. Like they have Tempo Esports with like LeBron's team and DNZ and stuff. It's like, it goes pretty far down.
So, looking for some announcements here. I don't even know if they announced it last time. I kind of just want to say it. So we're casting Dota Pit in a week. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
So we'll be competing with the qualifiers for this big event. The not open, but the first round of qualifiers. I don't even know what to call this shit. I think it is kind of invite. I don't. They're having
a bracket, right? Just a double in bracket, right?
Well, yeah, but it's like regional. It says TBD, team from Ukraine and Belarus, team from Central Asia, team from East Europe. So I don't know how the hell this is going to work. Like they've got teams from.
Oh, you're still talking about the Epic thing.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Dota Pit now.
No, well, I'm jumping around a little bit, but Dota Pit is going to be competing with that like beginning round of qualifiers for the Omega League. And I think
we'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm just more bulking at how specifically regional it is. Like they have Balkan and Greece teams. They've got slots for teams from Caucasus and Turkey. That should be exciting. What's MENA?
Middle Eastern North Africa.
Oh, well, are you excited to see the 4 best teams from the Middle East?
Dude, that's actually
Africa?
A legit region.
Yeah.
If that region had good internet and could just play American teams on the same ping, I think that America would be in trouble.
Okay, I gotcha.
That region's actually so legit.
Okay, then. Well, maybe something worth watching when you're done with Dota Pit for the day. So I know Dota Pit has announced Europe, but we'll be doing half the coverage, splitting it up with another casting pair. I think it's like 4 best of 3s per day. So it is going to be like a little minor, actually. You're not wrong. It's going to be just a 4-day, 4 best of 3 slugfest, except we'll be from home and I won't have to host 4 series. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, but we don't get to sit in the hotel or go to the beach. And
the pay's not nearly as good. So
downside.
I do wish we were going to Croatia. I don't know. Are you flying to Ukraine, bud? If you were invited, do Omega.
I am not flying anywhere.
All right.
That's a big 0 chance.
All right. I always knew you were a wuss.
Can't handle it. And no, I'm not driving across the Atlantic or the North Pole either. I'm sled dogging.
You can get some chains. I'm sure you could do it. It's probably connected. Oh my! All right. Should we talk about hero changes a little bit?
Yes, please. I'm actually pretty excited for this. I mean,
Okay.
well, I say we do the patch first, and then we'll talk about aghanims, I assume, after.
Yeah. Let's do that. So let's
all right,
jump
I like
right into 7.27b. This was almost all hero changes. Midas got a small buff. Some other item tweaks. Giant heroes that jumped out. Bloodseeker kind of back to the way he used to be. Thirst doesn't give you attack speed anymore, and now it heals you when you kill stuff. And then Blood Rage is back to this thing that increases your attack speed and gives you spell amp, but also drains your max HP instead of silencing you. So, whoops, I'm sorry about that. I was covering Trent's face with my Path of Exile trades.
Oh, that's good. I found some pistachios anyway, so.
Yeah, my bad there, folks. It's production value. So, but again, I picked this change out in particular, Trent, because it's high on the list alphabetically, and also because it is in this category of changes that have been kind of irking me a little bit, where I feel like we're just changing shit for the sake of changing shit. I used to really compliment Valve for experimenting, collecting data, and now we're flipping heroes back and forth. Hey, you know what? Maybe Bloodseeker was better before the way it used to be. And maybe that's recognition of a failed experiment, but at the same time, God damn it. These are the worst
after the
ones.
Patch, he dropped a 10% win rate. It's the most I've ever seen from a single patch.
Is that just across the board, all skill levels, 10%?
Yeah, so he literally dropped from an average of 51% to 41%.
Dude, that's insane.
I had never seen that. It was crazy.
Okay.
He has since recovered. He's back up to like 46.5, so still down about 5% from where he started. But damn, yeah,
Still.
he did not like that change. It would seem. Just to quickly touch up, I think in C he got a lot of buffs though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he got touched up. There were definitely a few big winners initially. C came out, I think, 24 hours after B. So they were kind of tandem patches. Clinks, another one. Now Strafe, back to being a regular ability that you use. Skeleton Walk does what you'd think it does. Burning Army is now an Aghanim Scepter ability. And guess what? Clinks' ultimate is back to being Death Pact. And Death Pact has been reworked to, surprise, surprise, target a friendly or enemy creep to gain a percentage of its hit points as max health and, get this, damage. No longer gets permanent damage from killing people when under the Death Pact buff, so he's not that crazy snowball guy anymore. And even more damage on searing arrows. So I think Clinks, didn't his win rate jump up?
Yeah, I'll double check his. I know he has a lot of crazy shit going on. It initially jumped all the way up to like 57%, and then it got tweaked back down to like 52%.
Okay. The classic.
But yeah, everyone
overture.
was doing all the like ench shit, right? Like right away,
Mm-hmm.
where they were doing using Helm the Dominator and getting the bonus damage. He is creeping back up, so he's up to 54% today. So he's actually he went back down to 52% win rate, and he's slowly been climbing over time as people like figure out the right builds.
I saw a couple angry tweets of pro players saying, "I have been practicing Clinks for what reason? I have been grinding all these games, and now we're back to this shitbag where he was."
Yeah, I don't know. He was kind of cool. I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, I mean, he's still partially there, right? The Aghanims, his old Ags felt weird. I don't think that one ever felt completely right.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that one either. When you came out of Invis and it made the two guys.
Yeah, you're dropping extra skeletons. It wasn't terrible, but it didn't really feel worth it.
Yeah.
Burning Army, I don't know if that even feels worth it. This strikes me as like a good synth if you've for some reason got yourself in a position where you've drafted a position 1 Clinks and you kill third Roche and you don't have any other good Ags carriers. All right, yeah, maybe give it to your Clinks, then he can kill people better. I don't think you're rushing this item. I think you're buying, Deso, Orchid, Crit. You're keeping it conventional still.
It's so funny though. They just like so they die in 2 hits and deal 30% of your damage. And it's still a 90-second cooldown for an Aghanims. Like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It doesn't.
That's a long time.
I don't want to sound too critical. I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on stuff, but it just seems uninspired. This isn't the innovative fix to the broken heroes that Ice Frog has become renowned for. We're just going back, you know?
He's fine tuning.
Yeah, I hope so. I was disappointed with this change overall. Other big heroes. Who else jumped out with like fundamental? Let's see. Razer. He had a big one with Static Link. Static Link no longer disarms you, nor does invisible attacks through the link, but instead allows you to attack while moving, similar to Wind Ranger. By default, it will automatically attack the link target, but allows you to attack a different target.
Yeah, so now it doesn't mean it means you don't have to always leech like the same guy that you want to kill, which is good.
Yeah, it gives you control. So you can still leech damage from that guy with the link, but you can do damage with your auto attacks to other people.
Yeah.
I think this is okay. I will say Razer did feel too noob friendly with the old Static Link. You just cast it and run at him, and if you have more movement speed, you just click on the ground. It doesn't get easier, and it was a little cheese dick. So Eye of the Storm also no longer has a passive component. It just does it give you?
I was kind of surprised they did that.
How does that work? Does it just give you extra right click damage? Is that what it means?
So no, it used to do the it means the lightning strike, but it used to do like the passive AoE damage. Now that's gone.
Oh, that
they took it off Storm Surge.
Yeah,
and put it on the ulti, and now they just took it away from the hero.
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're totally right. I'm sorry. I was confusing it with the key component of Eye of the Storm. All right. So they gave Eye of the Storm more damage to make up for it, but you no longer do passive lightning bolts.
Yeah. Kind of weird. I don't know why they got rid of that. I guess they're just trying to change him into a less of like a flash farmer style where he could like go to the jungle, do a bunch of camps and stuff. Now he feels like he just wants to fight all the time. I mean, you can't spam Plasma Field more now because they reduced the cooldown by 4 seconds at max level, which is pretty big.
I guess so. Yeah.
He's also a lot tankier. Strength gain from 2.6 to 2.8. Agi from 2.1 to 2.3. That's pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I shouldn't say a lot tankier, but that's going to add some HP and armor as the game progresses.
Sand King also had a rework. Caustic Finale. Now attacking an enemy places a debuff that slows the enemies by 10 through 25% across 4 levels for 5 seconds. If the target dies during the 5-second debuff, an explosion deals damage that is fixed plus percentage of the target's max HP.
And a 500 AoE. That's a big AoE.
And at level 4, that's 22% of the target's max health plus 130.
Yeah. It's like 400 or 500 damage at like early game. Like
that is
early to mid game.
That is pretty wild because you don't have to kill it. It just has to die with the debuff on. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, you kind of have to kill them though. Like, you know, if I mean, you're trying to finish them off next to enemies, not like running away from the fight.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, exactly. I guess I just mean like it's not like you have to kill it to get the last hit for it to work. You can initiate a fight, blow somebody up. Your carry can come in and clean shit up, but 22% of max health is kind of a lot. You know, you pick off a carry or like. You have a front liner. You know, you got a big beefy underlord in the front. He gets caught a little bit. You kill him. He explodes. 22%.
Yeah, I kind of think of it as like
that's a lot.
Let's say it's like you're like level 8 or level 9 and you kill like a level 7 disruptor or something. He's gonna have like 1100 HP maybe if he's got like decent items like bracers and stuff. And
so
then
it's like 250 plus 130.
Yeah, you're gonna like 250 plus 130 if you had it maxed out that early, which you might not. Like even if you don't have it maxed, like third point is another 110. So if you can like blow up one of the squishier heroes, that's an extra 400 AoE damage that's like flying out. If you like imagine with like RP or something.
Yeah, like
kind of cool.
When I saw this, I kind of thought position 3 Sand King is real, and now you have a serious play against really beefy frontliners, like these high HP, low armor sort of heroes. It's just cool. We don't have a ton of spells that do max HP damage. Like Elder Titan Ultimate, that's a big one.
Yeah.
What else does percentage of max HP? We have a bunch that do current, and that's not nearly as scary.
Oh, we have a lot of percent maxes, but nothing that's like nothing but like when you die though, like a corpse explosion like this.
Yeah,
Kinda
yeah.
cool.
That's a pretty unique mechanic.
Our guy, I was very excited about this one for us. You know, who's our guy? Who's our boy?
Undying. Is it Undying?
Of course. It's
Dude.
Undying. Did you see the change?
I did. So
They brought it back.
dude, I know. I think we said something like this. There's got to be a clip of us like, I would be happy if we just had the old ultimate back.
Just the amp damage. That's all I want.
Yeah, I will say I played a Position 3 Undying game yesterday, and we lost miserably.
Can you stop putting him 3? He's not a 3.
I know.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
There were some other issues there. I am trying to make fetch happen. I just thought for a moment, but this is pretty cool. I asked Dendy about this, and he was very optimistic. He said he thinks 4 or 5 is perfectly okay for Undying right now.
Yeah. It's having the amp is huge. That's like such a big difference again.
Yeah. And it's 25%, 30%, 35%. So level 6, 25%. That is significant.
And well, what's good is that before, when he used to have this, he didn't get that much tankier. Like back in the day, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't that crazy in terms of the strength bonus, unless you had like you needed a lot of stolen stacks from the decay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm trying to find the last one. So the last time the old flesh golem was maximum damage amp was 30%, and you had to be directly next to them. And then you had you got a max health heal when people died, but he didn't get any like strength or anything when he ulted before. So you would sometimes be this like really squishy Undying running around.
Yeah.
But then when they added the HP bonus, which was like the previous version of 7.2, he didn't give the amp anymore. They took that away. So now we have HP bonus and amp.
And
great.
slow. So now when he does Flesh Golem, at level 1, he gets a 40% strength bonus, a 30 movement speed bonus, a 40% debuff movement slow, a 25% damage amplification, and the debuff lasts for 6 seconds. And Flesh Golem itself lasts for 40 seconds.
Pretty nice.
Is pretty good. That is like, that's a lot of shit that you get. So I guess the key thing here, Trent, that's different that...
Whoa.
Now,
hold on. I'm reading this right now. Did you know that illusions get a new Flesh Golem buff when you summon them, lasting for the full duration, regardless of how much is left on Undying himself? So if you had Illusionist Cape, you could pop Illusionist Cape at the end of your Flesh Golem transformation. That's kind of cool. And like keep it going.
That is cool. Now, I don't know.
Go Roche or something.
I think we glossed over this mechanic, but the damage amp now is when you right click. It's not an aura. So the 40% movement slow, the 25% damage amp, it's a debuff that lasts for 6 seconds that gets applied when you punch somebody.
But you're tanking enough to actually do it now.
Yes, exactly.
And before, I mean, the thing was that with the old version, in order to get the max amp anyway, you had to. It was a proximity thing. You had to be right next to them. So
exactly. So it's
kind of whatever.
Yeah, it's fine for single target. It's just something to keep in mind. Undying players out there, you're going to need to hit a couple of targets if you want to get that debuff up on more than one person. If there's some AoE happening. And it does not help your zombies anymore. That's like the one, quote, nerf that's come along with it, is it doesn't buff up the tombstone, which is fine. I don't think we ever really gave a shit about that to begin with. So
yeah, he is still really slow. That's true.
Yeah.
You could buy drums maybe as support. That could kind of work.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know what the right item build is. But, yeah, I think Undying is pickable now. I think pro level, we definitely will see him. If there are teams that are partial to picking him, he's playable in the 5 for sure. And we'll see on the 4. I still don't want to play him. You know what I've been enjoying playing recently, Trent?
Treant Protector.
Fucking Treant, dude. And mostly as a function of the new Meteor Hammer. I have to say also, the buff to eyes in the forest, did you see that? So when you get the aghanims on Treant, now
3 charges.
You get 3 charges with a 40-second replenish time instead of it just having a fixed cooldown. So you get the ags and you drop 3 eyes right away. It's pretty dope. But Meteor Hammer, Blink Dagger, Ags. Dude, it's amazing.
Yeah, there's not really much more you have to change. Leech Seed is ownage again.
Yep. So what was it before this? It says
it was
now
an AoE.
Ugh.
and it did less, I believe.
Okay, so it's just back to good old Leech Seed. Single target, does damage, heals, has a very small slow.
It just feels better for bullying now.
Yep. It's still all about the Nature's Grasp, though. That spell is stupidly good, man.
Yeah, that smells crazy, especially when you combine it with the Leech Seed. I've been watching some games with Trent, like some of the pro matches and stuff, and you can just bully the hell out of a lane.
Yeah. But I do think any hero that wanted to buy Meteor Hammer before, that item feels so good now. A Perseverance, a Crown, and a 250 gold recipe. Is that not the dream buildup? 4 to all stats and then 2 regen pieces? Yes, please. Nyx Assassin, if I were a Nyx player, I think I'd be loving life right now. And I also just like fucking around in the trees, dude. Being able to throw down some Nature's Grasp on the creeps, drop a Meteor Hammer, and full clear a creep wave, and then chip down towers, it's real annoying.
He'll be very good in pro games, and he'll be treant spammers again, kind of like it was before in pubs.
Yeah.
Definitely a spammed hero. Like the same people just play him every single game.
Oh, buddy, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It's so different. It does feel like you're cheating when you're in the corner of the map and there's just nothing but trees and people are trying to find you and they're using dusts and they still have no means to get clear true vision.
Oh yeah, I saw you
over
game
the trees.
versus Bounty Hunter and I felt bad. I was like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, that one's a little harder. Bounty Hunter Zeus, that fucks it up a little bit. But I'm trying to perfect the strat, but the amount of space that you can make is actually stupid. You can get 3 heroes up there like Queen of Pain blinking around the trees. Even if they kind of find you, you just run through the trees. They can't. Nobody but Bat Rider. I think he's maybe the one. Monkey
That's
King.
very good.
Monkey King's another one. He probably would fuck up that strategy pretty hard. Prophet also could be good, but yeah, people seem to really suck with that hero. I played against a Prophet yesterday who did the courier snipe strat. He was level 1 when everyone else was getting their ultimates and shit, and it just wasn't worth it, man. It doesn't matter how many couriers you kill.
Oh, that's weird.
You got to do something else. You can't just kill couriers.
He was just like planting wards and killing couriers
yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah, we can see him in our base, and it's like, what do you do? It's not worth it to TP home and try and kill him, and he's just sitting there. You're like, all right, he's sitting there. Nobody fly out their courier, and he did kill some. There were a couple times where somebody's like, watch your courier, watch your courier. Watch your courier, and then it dies, and the mid goes, oh, shit, I didn't realize you were talking to me. But
I'll give you guys the tips for versus treant, though. Bat Rider, as you said, extremely good. Actually, we'll go right from the percents. So percentage-wise, in terms of like the worst versus, because you're going to see a lot of treants. Visage percentage-wise is very good, but that's a bit of you only see like 1,000 Visage games, so I'm not really going to count Visage, but it kind of makes sense. Just like a faster pace, I'm sure, and it lets you like fully clear down a tower, right? That's the good thing about Visage. You can like commit, kill the tower, and makes the living armor less effective.
The living armor is already pretty rough against towers compared to what it used to be. Now that it does fixed healing, like a level 2 living armor, it's very underwhelming how much 120 health is not a lot. So it is easier than ever to push down towers against tree. He gives them armor, but without the damage block, it's living armor kind of sucks right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, Bat is still super good, as you said, just for all the obvious reasons. You can just chase him through the trees. Morphling's really good because he's like, and anyone who naturally builds like Manta is gonna be really annoying for Trent to deal with because you all you have is ulti, right?
Yeah.
And if they can keep up with your split push, they also don't care.
Monkey King is real annoying.
Monkey King's good. Phoenix is very good. That's one of the sports I really hate playing against. Actually, is Treant. I think it's like one of the best counters. Is support to support because Treant can't deal with your egg. He can chase you in the trees with a dive. He puts fire spirits on you, and your whole thing is like right click damage that it's just like so ridiculous. But with no attack speed, you can't even use it in lane. That's one of the best counters, I think.
Night Stalker is also surprisingly good.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, same thing with
just,
Bounty. Like that works fine for the same reasons.
Bounty's just okay. I feel like as a tree, you can play around it a little bit because you spend so much time in fog. You can. I don't know. It's kind of like Ricky versus Bounty. I would rather be the Bounty, but if you're pretty good at playing Ricky, it's not unplayable.
Yeah, it's any of the Vision heroes like that. It's like Lion saying in chat, the Beastmaster too, same thing. Any Vision hero is pretty nice. When it comes to when to pick Treant, according to the Dota stats, Yes, always. His best advantage is actually versus Meepo, which kind of makes sense with his ulti, right? Little
I
surprise there.
guess. Yeah,
I would not have thought that was his
no,
best.
yeah, okay, sure. What's number two?
Beastmaster, actually.
What? How?
Probably because he gets caught a lot on the side lanes, I would guess. Because once you hit level 10 and you have the invis, the Hawk wouldn't scout you.
Is it because you
But
can kill
Beastmaster and
his
Meepo
zoo?
also aren't played a lot in pubs necessarily compared to other heroes, so they might be a little bit of outliers statistically.
Well, I think like treant is relatively good against zoo stuff because your stupid brambles slow shit so much that you
Yes.
can hit most of them with the meteor hammer, and
Yeah.
you can kill 2 boars and some necro units and some other shit.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's second place though, because I also find it annoying to play against Beastmaster in a lot of ways when I am tree.
Yeah,
Apparently he's good versus Legion, probably just for the maybe it's the same idea of like the roar and the duel where they're always going for ganks and you have the living armor to help out.
Now, buddy, I need to ask you a question that I think I know the answer to, and I'm not going to like it. Positioning like 4 or 5 on the tree.
That's a tough one, actually. I don't think that he's not hard set in one or the other.
All right,
I
that
do
makes me
think
feel
he can
better.
be both, but you really need to know who your other partner is, and it depends on it depends on what your other support is and what your position one is.
All right, so what's your advice if you're a solo queue pub tree player and now the way drafting works in all pick, you have to
Yes.
pick 2 heroes blind, and you almost always have to take your 2 supports. So I don't know what supports I'm up against, and I don't know what my offlaner is 90% of the games if I'm queuing 4 and 5 because
Right.
people aren't nice and don't show.
He should be 4 in pubs in that situation.
Yes,
I
all
do
right.
think you can get away with him as a 5 if you have a decent carry, like someone who can fight in lane like a troll or a wraith king or a jug or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then it works.
I've liked him on the 4 with most of the normal offlane heroes I've been paired. Like if I have a Beastmaster combo, the double slow with 2 boars
Yes.
and my shit, really good. So I'll buy like an Orb of Venom even, so it's just an unbelievable amount of slow.
It's
like
also the
Centaur,
tree,
same
the
thing.
tree layout, right? It's much better in the off lane. When you're playing in towards the tower like that, it's a lot better.
Yes, right, because the brambles do more damage when they're touching a tree.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always forget that. Although you're right, in the side lane, that's really not that hard to do. You just have to not put it directly
but it's like,
down the lane.
in terms of like you're maneuvering around the trees, it just feels a lot better when you're on the aggressive part of the map. It's not as good when you're trying to like hide around your tower and stuff.
Well, so I've also noticed there's 2 things you can do when you're playing with the tree vision. If the enemy has a ward on the other side, like an anti-pudge ward, on the other side of the tree line, if you're playing into the tower and you take a few tower shots, you can tell where the fog line is and whether or not there's vision on the other side of the trees. You can like fuck around with that. So you can get easy D wards. That's a cool thing about playing tree in the 4 because that's a common ward spot and you can confirm it before burning a sentry. And against some squishy like lion or lich or something, you can abuse that tree line the same way. You punch them and then just run through the trees. You punch them again,
That's the other good thing
run through the trees.
about position 4 tree is that you can bully most 5s really hard. Like,
yes,
my absolute favorite support to play against is Crystal Maiden when I'm playing Treant Protector.
Oh
my god,
she can't do
like
anything.
You put the slow on her and she just dies.
Yeah, it's almost unfair, and that's like your lane partner can be pretty brain dead, and you're just killing her over and over. You can, like, I can get it to the point where they can't pull creeps because she can't leave the box, so to speak. She can hide under the tower and live, but she can't do anything. They can't manipulate the lane, and if she does, I'm gonna go kill her, boxing, and then I get my meteor hammer, and it's all over, buddy. That top tier 2 tower is mine. Eventually.
What were the other? Let me take a look at the trends. I was looking at all the trends for the week in terms of the heroes too, because there were a couple other heroes. Underlord, I remember he actually had one of the equally big jumps. He jumped like 10% day 1 or something crazy.
And his changes were weird too because it was nothing fundamental. They just buffed the numbers on all of his skills. It was just across the board. Okay, Underlord is a much stronger hero now. Atrophy Aura got buffed. Firestorm got buffed, and Pit of Malice, and then they also tweaked his talents to be better, I think, straight up.
It's a very interesting display of how delicate the game is.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, in the case of Underlord, the thing they took away was him gaining permanent damage. It seems like Valve has some data to indicate that this mechanic of like flesh heap, we should leave that unique to one or two heroes, and giving
Yeah.
damage to Underlord and then giving him an eggs. The scaling on that seems a little lame. I guess Clinks is the same thing. Like, it gives you too much of an advantage too early, and then there's no counterplay because it's permanent. But for a hero like Underlord, I would say the permanent bonus damage is one of the least significant aspects of the hero overall
Not important.
compared to what it did for Clinks. And then they buffed every other aspect of Atrophy Aura and all this other shit to make up for it. And it's like, okay, so really you just buffed him.
I actually was not a huge fan of the C changes they gave him though afterward, because in order to bring him down, so I'll give you the numbers. So first off, instantly after the change, he jumped from about 52% up to 59%. So a pretty huge jump instantly.
That is a lot.
Yeah, and then they gave him the C changes, and now he's still sitting at like 56%. He's still one of the biggest win rate heroes.
Okay.
But the changes that they did is that they reduced the atrophy aura radius from 12, which is like standard for all auras, down to 900, which I don't mind it necessarily, because like I get that he's supposed to be like tanky and in the front line and everything, but I always like the idea of like the 1200. You know, it's so good visually.
Yeah.
They reduced the cast range of Pit of Malice, so exact same logic. You just need to play closer. They reduced the cast range of Firestorm by the same amount. Again, need to play closer. So yeah, I don't know.
But Trent, they nerfed his level 25 talent from plus 20 damage on Firestorm to buildings to 15. One of the worst talents in the game, I would argue.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
People almost, I can't remember a game where I've seen somebody get that. And if I have, I can't remember a game where I've played a lot of Underlord. I've tried it so many times, and it just, yeah, it does a little chip damage to the towers. When you're level 25 as Underlord, it just doesn't matter. Do you know how fast you fucking kill towers with right clicks with all the atrophy aura damage?
I know, after any fight ever.
Like, it's such a weird. Killing towers isn't really Underlord's problem. It scales with him for the most part, and it's very odd.
It's crazy that he gets to a 9-second cooldown on the Firestorm later on too. If you take that talent, that is crazy. That's like 3-second downtime.
That is crazy. So they got rid of the talent that gives you damage on it at level 10, and instead now at level 15 you get a minus 3-second cooldown.
Yeah,
I think that's better.
It's either that or the 100 Pit Malice AoE. So it could maybe depend on your game, but more than likely you probably want the cooldown.
I would probably take the cooldown. I guess the AoE is one of those things where it's radius, so it's more than it seems like, and because it's bigger, you're stuck in it longer, so it's harder to get out of. So that might significantly increase the chances of getting 2 procs instead of 1.
If you had a lot of slows on your team,
yeah,
you might really want it. Or if you're like doing the Atos build and stuff.
I could see situations where that might actually be a really good talent. Damn, Underlord has sick 15s now. What about Tiny, dude? So do you want to give us a quick? I feel like we need to do a Dota drunk history series of heroes like this that have had skills just consistently ripped apart. Tree Grab is now on a charge limit again.
Oh, wow. I didn't even see this change. There's so many changes. I didn't even know that.
I thought Tiny would be one that you would jump to. But, dude, seriously, this is one of the skills. I have stopped reading changes on this hero because I know that my wires have crossed so many times. It's just one big blob of, yeah, he does something with trees, and I'm just going to mouse over it and double check when I'm casting before saying anything. That's the level I'm at now with Tiny. All right, guys, this is the raw reaction. This is the Trent face of like, okay, what's my boy doing? What's Tiny what's happening?
All right, well, I do remember seeing the HP regen being like nice, because that always feels good as support.
From 0 to 1. Yeah.
Sick.
That's cool.
Toss being increased by 0.1 is kind of cool. It just means longer time you're holding someone, right?
Yeah, slightly longer disable. It's like
the Avalanche Change. Initial projectile no longer takes a fixed 0.5 seconds to arrive at the destination, but instead is a 1200 projectile speed.
So basically, it used to take 0.5 seconds to arrive, no matter how close or far away. If you were doing max toss or max range avalanche, it would still have the same distance. Now,
like it didn't really match with the visual. Now it actually matches.
Correct. Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Avalanche always had that weird sort of, how did that catch me? It's like, yeah, that's.
Yeah.
But so Tree Grab, it no longer slows Tiny by 30 movement speed. It has a 5-hit charge limit. Tree Grab unit base damage rescaled to a flat 25. Building damage upped by a significant amount. And splash damage increased by a significant amount, now maxing out at 100% at level 4.
Feels like support Tiny again.
And he now has a 15 talent to increase Tree Grab charges by +3. So a total of 8.
I need to see I swear to God, the cooldown on the on Tiny's Tree Grab always confuses the hell out of me. You never check it when you're actually casting because they're always holding the tree.
So it doesn't
so the
say
cooldown
anything
now
about
is
cooldown.
25, 20, 15, 10. Interesting.
I mean, you could play mid Tiny with this iteration of Tree Grab, no?
Yeah, I just want to know which one's better. Because to me, not losing move speed and then having a 5 charge limit and buffing the flat building damage and the flat unit bonus damage from 10. So you get a free 15% now at level 1. And then you get 70 more damage on buildings, 70% more damage on buildings. It just seems like support Tiny benefits way more from all of this.
And you still have Tree Throw, of course.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, Tiny.
This poor
What a
fucking
guy.
hero. Seriously, though, I mean, I think you could do a drunk history just reading patch notes and confusing yourself. I mean, just scrolling through his changes. It's like looking at Demon's Dota team history. It goes on and on. It doesn't stop.
Interesting.
What does Tiny's Ags do right now?
It does the tree volley. I was reading about it this morning, so I was wondering if that was like kind of broken again. Because it still does all the on-hit attack stuff. Remember, it makes it like he channels and he throws all the trees like a big AoE around him.
Yeah,
well,
no, I remember. I remember it being really broken, and you would pair it with like Void or some other really big disable.
Or Echo Saber, because it procs the slow.
Okay, yeah, it sounds busted. And then they nerfed it somehow. What was it, damage or cast range? Or I don't know how they changed it, but I know it's not nearly as good now.
They changed it so the... I was just reading it this morning and I already forget. It still does all like the crit and everything, because I was surprised that it still does all that stuff when we stopped seeing it. The big change was they reduced the attack damage percent from 120 to 100%, and the cooldown from 12 to 15, and the mana cost from 150 to 200.
Okay.
But other than that,
it's the
same
general thing. All right. So, and it scales with your damage. So that's what makes it good, is that you could play a core Tiny and keep buying damage items, and then Tree Volley is still good. Okay. Well, talk about all over the place, though, because Tree Volley, that's for core Tiny. You're not seeing support Tinies do that, right? Because you need damage to make it worth it, and you need to be able to build the Ags in a timely manner. I think this hero is going to be avoided.
That one was always weird to work in.
Yeah.
People used to like buy Ags and crit in late game. Remember that? Like support Tinies would buy the Aghanims and then Chrysalis.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would throw it into like a Chronosphere and stuff. That's how it was used the last time it was like popular.
Weird.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, there's a lot of changes on a ton of heroes. I mean, Venomancer lost his reduced his HP regen on Poison Sting. Kind of sad. But other than that, he got buffed. So he had some pretty good changes overall as a hero.
Yeah, like you said, there were a lot of number changes. There's like a lot of individual patch notes, but a lot of them are like Desolate gets an extra 10 damage per level. There's just stuff that's kind of, it doesn't feel huge, but obviously it does add up when it's across all the heroes. There was one line under Sven that I didn't understand that maybe you could decode for me. It says Stormhammer Dispel talent is now able to target cycloned units and dispels it off. So does that mean it hard counters Yule's Scepter?
Yeah, it used to be that any dispel can target someone who's Yule's, right? That's like how it's always worked. But for some reason, his didn't, because it was the Stormhammer dispel. So it makes sense, because it's like you need a legal target for Stormhammer. And before you get the talent, it's not a legal target to just hit someone who's Cyclone. So they've changed it now that once you take that talent, you can actually do it.
That makes sense. So that's one of those like not working as intended where that dispel should be
Yeah.
able to counter. Wow, but that is pretty cool though to just think about. Sweet. So now there's a world where Sven can just be like, yeah, nice Yules bitch, and just Stormhammer him. And
Yeah.
they come out of the cyclone and take damage. That's pretty
It
badass.
looks like they buffed a lot of the support Sven stuff. I was kind of looking at his changes yesterday, thinking if that would be viable again.
10 movement speed, little cleave buff. So Warcry, again, here's another one.
Yep.
So Warcry no longer provides bonus damage. Warcry movement speed is provided for allies. So it stopped giving movement speed to allies. Now it does. So the movement speed bonus was nerfed a little bit to make up for that. And the mana cost was now changed back to scaling from a fixed 60. So, yeah, you're right. That does help support Sven.
Yeah, we'll see if it's any good, though.
Like,
because you get the base movement speed of 325 now, too, which is kind of nice.
That did cripple support Sven, not being able to give people movement speed with Warcry.
Yeah, it's like the whole point. You said like a good stun and everyone ran at people.
It still has damage mitigation, right?
I actually don't even know.
Okay,
I assume so. I'll double check.
Let's check. Okay, so it's bonus armor. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's based on a percent or something. Right? No, it's back to flat.
Yeah. Now it's just flat armor.
I literally don't check heroes until I'm in the game with them.
Dude, seriously, no, it's gotten to that point. That's what I'm saying. There used to be, okay, these are new changes. That's cool. All right, a rework. All right, I can. Now it's just we're just toggling. We're just flipping switches, and my circuits are getting fried. And God's Strength, there's a big change here. It no longer gives you a strength bonus. And
those are percents, by the way, on the movement speed.
Yes, they are percents. Wow. They don't have percentage signs, but they are percentages. You're right.
That's really good.
Yeah,
really good late game.
I actually thought it was flat movement speed, so thought it was underwhelming. Good call.
Yeah, 20 would be very bad.
So God's Strength, though, it no longer gives you extra strength, and to make up for it, they've increased the damage by an extra 30, 40, and 50% across the 3 levels. And the duration of God's Strength has gone from 25 seconds to 40 seconds. Those are some pretty serious buffs.
Yeah, that's the we can do Roche after, or take a tower after, or take high ground after.
Yeah. And now his 25 talent that used to be extra strength is just an extra 50 damage, 50% rather, on God's
insane.
Strength. So God's Strength, if you get that 25 talent, 260% increased damage. It's more than a double damage rune. That's nuts.
Kind of fun to see what his item builds are going to be now, I wonder. I heard that Arteezy was playing it, and they did a couple websites have already like done little mock-ups of like, oh, this is what Arteezy's building on Sven. You should do it too. Someone was telling me in my chat yesterday.
Dude, I don't know.
Dota has an article if you guys are interested.
Sven sounds pretty fucking viable to me right now. Those are some nice buffs. The movement speed especially. Just having a base 325, that is speedy. I wonder if his aghanims is still considered good. Superman.
I don't even. Oh yeah, you get the flying Superman, right?
Superman. Yep.
Jeez.
Flying around.
So many changes, man. Unbelievable. I was just thinking like, oh yeah, AoE cost. Oh yeah, right. That was support Sven.
The Superman's cool. I've seen games where it feels unstoppable if he's ahead, and then others where if you're kind of behind, it just like, all right, now you just died faster because you jumped in. It's very weird. So quite a few other, as always with our podcast, we don't read the notes line by line. We kind of look at the highlights, give you the big changes that stood out to us.
We like to make it as confusing as possible.
Yeah, we got Purge reading line by line. We like to do something a little different here. Trent, I want to do a little shill real quick though, because have you ever used a 60% keyboard? Razer just sent me a free gift because I went on Twitter bitching about not being able to find a pink keyboard.
I did not know that you actually got one from that. That's pretty great.
So I started. Here's the whole story. Okay, I wanted the pink tournament edition Black Widow that has the little wrist rest because my palms were getting sore using my little lap desk. And that keyboard is sold out. It was like limited edition when they did that full quartz line where they did the pink laptop. They call it quartz, but it's really just pink. And yeah, it's one of the mini keyboards without the numpad and stuff. And apparently that's completely sold out, and they haven't made that in like 5 years or whatever. Time flies. So they offered me the only pink one that they sell now is the full-size Huntsman. And I was looking at it, and I was like, "This is a really nice keyboard, but I already have 2 full-size Black Widows. What do what am I going to use it for? I don't have." So they just came out with the new mini Huntsman, the 60%. It's like the little baby keyboard with no anything. It's as small as it gets, and it's got the new switches. I got the Mercury White one, which is real cool. And what did they say?
You're the guy now, eh?
Dude, I'm the guy. It's got the optical switches for actuation at the speed of light, Trent. How about that for marketing?
Hilarious.
So it's almost like the blue switches, but they got a little less click to them. It's pretty nice. I'm very excited. Thank you very much, Razer, for the free gift. You're getting some nice shilling here. I will say, Razer keyboards are the only keyboards I've used for a long time.
Aren't you the best?
So there you go. Look how beautiful it is. I'm excited to actually bust it out and get it open. But look at that social media team. Look at that. I got
They were on it. Someone saw that.
Yep. Sure did. The gentleman that reached out and got my information said he was a big fan of the podcast and our casting, Trent. So
wow.
It's a gift to both of us, but I'm gonna cash in on this one. So thanks, buddy.
Wow, thank you. I'm so glad that I could be of assistance for that.
I'll send you another chair when that one breaks down.
Oh, yeah. You mean like 2 years ago when it did?
Yeah. So anything else? What else is going on in your life, bud? Any life updates? Any new TV shows? Anything you want to close with?
Any new babies? No, I haven't popped any new ones out, so that's good.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's
Paper Mario is all actually dope. So you guys were on the
Switch?
fence. Yeah, it's very good. It's different. I don't know if any of you guys have been playing it and you're old men like me. I've played every Paper Mario except for the Wii ones because I never owned a Wii. But I played like the GameCube ones and the N64 one. I think it was 64 at least. They were great games. I had a big fan, and then I saw the new one coming out and it was very different. But it was good. I'm like on chapter 3 right now, I think, or chapter 2. And it's very fun. It's actually kind of hard. If you want to play perfectly, it is hard. You have to do like little puzzles every single combat. And some of them are legit difficult because you're on a timer. And a lot of times I have a screaming child, which makes it even harder. So it's pretty sick.
Yeah, probably won't surprise you to hear that I never played Paper Mario. I think Carlo played it on the 64, but
if you guys want to know, I don't even know if I can recommend the old ones in the vein of like to see if you'd like this one because they're a little bit different. But it's a series that's very much carried by its writing. The writing is very funny. It's quite good.
I see.
Many a chuckle. So highly recommend just playing Paper Mario and the Thousand-Year Door for GameCube if you guys want to know if it's good. By far the best one. The first one's also good too, but Thousand-Year Door, they just do everything a lot better.
So minor PoE update.
Yes.
I have been very much enjoying this league as the Zyori aficionados. I've been streaming some of the gameplay, and we've been doing some party play. Trent, this is the first league where my character's been good enough that I can actually kill the end game bosses. So I'm seeing shit that I've never seen before. So I'm having a blast. But this is proving to be one of the most controversial PoE leagues in a while. And by controversial, I mean people fucking hate it. It's, the plants. It's the Harvest League. So it's a little, I can't help but feel Animal Crossing-esque. They said at ExileCon that when they come up with the idea for leagues, they definitely get inspired by other games. And I get the Animal Crossing SimCity vibe where you have to build stuff and connect the circuits together and put storage tanks. And you're like making these little systems to harvest your plants and, put it in the dispensers, and the dispensers water the seeds, and there's different colors and different seeds need different colors. And it's sort of a pain in the ass, and most people hate it. And I can't tell if I only like it because my character's actually decent and I'm slaying bosses, or if I like it because I actually like the mechanic. I still like the lack of urgency where you can just kind of
you
plant
like WoW,
seeds.
though. It's like basically crafting, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
people are complaining because it's made crafting too easy. So like items that used to be really hard to make and super rare in past leagues are now relatively commonplace, and the economy is comparatively flooded with really good items. So it's changing some of the dynamics a bit. And I agree it's a big change, but I also think crafting in PoE was painfully random before this, and now it's cool to be able to say, hey, I've got this good item. I just want to change this one modifier. So now there's crafting stuff where you can say, hey, replace this one crit modifier with another crit modifier. So it doesn't fuck up most of the item. It just changes that one line from, global crit to melee crit or something to keep rolling it for the thing that you want. So targeted crafting is a really cool experience that some people love, but
I can see why people are annoyed because a lot of people like to make money off the game, right? Isn't that what they do?
Exactly. And it's just tedious. I will say the planting the seeds is very tedious, and it's really shitty for party play. Like past ones, like Metamorph or stuff, there'd be an extra boss you'd get to kill on every map. So if you're playing with your buds, you're just killing a really hard boss. Now it's all about seeds, and only the main person who opens the map gets the seeds. So there isn't really the party play aspect really sucks. And whatever.
Well, that's kind of cool though.
So yeah, anyway, good for me. This PoE league though, GGG, getting a little heat, a lot of pressure for the next one to be a real banger. So don't worry, I'll keep you all up to date. And I streamed Dota yesterday, Trent, for the first time in like 4.5, 5 weeks. I took a full month off of Dota after all the stuff happened.
I need to play some Dota.
I went 3-5. Not a terrible first day back.
You know what I have been playing?
Huh.
The Aghanims Laboratory.
Oh,
that is fun.
Dude, I forgot about that.
I have really been enjoying it. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been too. It is free for everyone. Excellent idea. Thank you, Valve. Genius. I can definitely see people starting to play Dota because of this. You want a new player experience. This is the kind of thing that should be a new player experience.
Yeah, this is one that makes me feel like I kind of wish this was some sort of a permanent fixture so that it could actually harvest new people regularly.
I think it should be. I think that it should become like if there was someone interested in making this work at Valve, it could be so good. Like changing it would be like literally a Dota roguelike just in there to play all the time.
It reminds me of like Warcraft 3 style campaign a little bit, and it has some like Silt Breaker type elements, and I like these mini games that are very Dota-y. I think some of the past ones have just felt like, we're on like the Dota engine, and I kind of recognize my character, but this is like the Year Beast was a little bit like, well, I don't know what we're doing. This, for whatever reason, feels, even when you're killing the bosses, I still feel like it's Dota. It's a giant timber saw who's throwing out AoE chakrams. It's still Dota. It's still like a great warm-up before you want to play a pub, for example. I'm
looking forward to them adding more heroes, which they probably will. They usually do for these events, so I'm just assuming they will. More heroes for like the next rounds, maybe new mobs, new bosses. It's just like it could be such a good feature if there's someone who just wants to do it at Valve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's such a weird feature of Dota.
All these games just need a little tender loving care, for sure. Yeah. They need even like when Dota 1 was on Warcraft 3, it had a various different people at different times that still owned it. It was Yule or Gnome or like obviously Ice Frog, right? We need that equivalent. We need the Ice Frog, but for this little game, somebody to really own it and plan out the adventures and figure out how to evolve it and adapt other heroes. And because it is neat when you have everybody loves leaderboards. I think that's one of the cool things about it is it has these ongoing trials, and then you can party up with people and try to get the fastest times and stuff like that. I think that is cool. Like that just as a general dynamic absolutely incentivizes people to play, and everything needs to be gamified these days. As we learned from Artifact, it matters. True. Having a ladder or an MMR system or some visual like, I want to start at 1 and go to 100. Show me how fast I'm going to 100. Show me my progress, damn it. I want a digital journal. We have spoken loudly, and I agree. I mean, I feel that way with PoE. Now that I can kill these bosses, I'm like, well, let's start collecting achievements. Let's do some of these challenges that I haven't been able to do in past leagues because they're there. And I definitely wouldn't give a shit about those challenges if there wasn't some dopamine hit when I finish one and the thing pops up and goes, dun-dun! Congratulations. You got 2 more imaginary bonus points.
Is that a new function of games, do you think? Like, It's become so ingrained in gaming. You're not wrong, but like that's not like for example, I will when I have free time, I will just turn on Melee and I'll just play it. You know what I mean?
I think it's always existed to some degree, but that degree has been amplified a lot in modern times. Like you said, now it's almost expected. I think for me, the big difference is I used to see that and kind of resist it, and now
Yeah.
I embrace it. Like I was talking to one of my friends yesterday, and she plays World of Warcraft, and she's an achievement hunter. So like she doesn't hardcore. All she does is I'm going for maximum achievement score, and some of them are really fucking dumb and tedious. It's like that's some, and she's in a guild of all achievement hunters. So all they
Right.
care about is achievement completion. It's like that's some serious nerd shit. Like, you guys are going back playing this old lame content just so you can get the tick box. And she's like, yeah, but once you have like 90% completion and the only ones that you have remaining are really hard, the dopamine hit that you get when it pops up and goes 5 more achievement points is epic. And like the fact that they just get harder for that last 10% of completion makes it hit even harder when you get it and makes you want it even more. So I think we've just gotten better at refining it to that like scaling degree so that people get really sucked into it. But it's always fucking been there, man. I mean, think about Pong. Every time you hit that ball back is a dopamine hit. It's
Boom, boom.
you know, simple
Yeah.
packaging, but it's the same formula. You're just trading dopamines back and forth, and when you score, it's the mega hit.
Yeah, I guess I don't know, like the idea of like permanently needing something, like you need to get something for the fun you're having in a game is still just kind of weird.
I mean, even think about Aghanim's lab. It's all broken into these levels. Levels done, you get a big bonus experience in gold. You get to buy an item. You get an upgrade at every checkpoint with your little
Yeah, but if
Aghanim
people weren't
shard.
getting battle pass levels, do you think they would still play the game?
Yes, but not as much. Obviously, there's a big incentive with the battle pass and that being tied to like monetary value. But I think people would still play it because there's a leaderboard and people care about the dick waving of being on the leaderboard. I mean, that's why league resets work for even games like Diablo. It
Yeah,
gets
it's true.
people hyped to come back. I see it like League 27, we're coming back, and it's just like, okay, is there anything new? No, but it's a fresh wipe, and I'm excited to
There's
grind
new
for 5
cosmetic
hours.
armor.
You know, and I'm excited to get the unicorn pet for logging in, and it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's lame. I'm not saying Diablo couldn't be better if they put a little more innovative care into it, but that simple formula works on people, dude. Blizzard has gotten very good at. I mean, isn't that just Hearthstone in a nutshell? Isn't it just
I guess
a free to play
end-
psychological con to get you to spend money?
Well, I'm kind of thinking of it the wrong way because the games that utilize that are the games that want to last forever. You don't need that if you're a game that you want people to finish, right? Like, for example, like I'm just thinking about like games that I've loved in my life. Like if I think about like Banjo-Kazooie or Divinity 2, or even then I'm like enjoying Paper Mario right now. It's like eventually at some point I'm gonna finish those games and I'm not gonna keep playing them. But
Right.
Dota has this thing where it's like it wants you to like keep playing forever. So that's why it's even more like World of Warcraft. Like those are all the games that use all these incentives because they don't have like a finite point where it's gonna end. Now, mind you, neither does Melee, but Melee, the finite point is my own, like I'm trying to improve my own skill the entire time.
Yeah, I feel it's always felt like fighting. That's part of what makes fighting games different, right? Is the
Yeah.
reward is in we're training. You're always perfecting. Every stock, every match is a chance to practice whatever. I don't know any Melee lingo. Your juggles,
Not quite. It's a little bit.
your dashes. I don't know.
All right. Well, that was pretty good. I think I'm good.
I think I'm good. I had one last question. Any hockey updates? I saw somebody asking in chat. I saw the Avalanche are training. My girl.
Everyone's training.
Yeah. The reporters are starting to do a little bit of coverage from the stadium.
It starts the 1st, so we're like 10 days away. And that'll be so basically I think there's 4 games a day. 5. They have 5 days on the opening day, 5 games on the Saturday.
Dude.
It's gonna be pretty crazy, and they're all back to back, eh? There's like 2 games that go on at once in like the middle of the day, but there's a game at 1 p.m. This is all in Atlantic time. So there's a game at 1 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 9 p.m., and 11:30 p.m. And they're playing on the West Coast. So
on Sundays.
Saturday.
Saturday.
That's all on Saturday, and then on Sunday there's gonna be another game at 3, 4, 7:30, 9, and 11:30. Like that's when
I
the Leafs
see.
first play is Sunday night.
Wow,
Yeah,
dude. So it's on. There's
it's gonna
no
be insane.
no live audience, right?
No audience.
And when does it start?
On the 1st, August 1st,
Dude,
at
Oh
noon Eastern.
my God,
will be the
sports are
first
back.
game.
I want to start betting on sports. Is that a dangerous can of worms I shouldn't open? It's legal
Yes.
now.
Why
where
would
I
you
am.
ever bet on sports when you could just bet on esports?
Well,
that
I
you
don't know.
better.
Because I apparently am not allowed to bet on Dota, and I still
Oh yeah,
can't
that's true.
really legally bet on Dota. Like I keep getting ads for FanDuel, and it's all for regular sports. My ads are getting blown up. That's what they know. They know. They see me googling betting stuff, and I'm getting. They really want my money.
I mean, hey, it makes watching the game a lot more fun. That's for sure.
I know, dude. I told you I finished the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance, like a week or two ago. We might have talked about this on one of the casts, but there's a big thing about how much he gambles, and he says that he's like not addicted to it because he only bets on himself, where he's like playing golf against somebody and it's $1,000 a hole or something. But they talk about that psychological element of if you bet on yourself to win when you're doing something competitive, you'll on average perform better if there's money on the line because you take it more seriously. It's like the equivalent of playing ranked versus unranked Dota, where you feel like your MMR is on the line. You will play better in ranked than unranked.
Right, it's like that whole thing with Pete Rose where he
Yeah.
bet on his own team and he still got banned.
Right, yeah. You're not allowed to do that in like normal sports, but it's a cool psychological phenomena that manifests through betting like that. But it's even if you did, like, you could A/B test it yourself, or even if you're playing ranked or unranked and you say, I'm going to try as hard as I can in every single game, chances are you'll win more in ranked because you just,
Yeah, for sure.
you will subconsciously try harder and take it more seriously and not give up and shit like that because there's just higher stakes. You know, it's like the same way I will always perform better when the camera's actually on than when we're doing rehearsals the day before because I can't pretend to take it seriously because it's not. You can't replicate the real thing. And it's like, I see the parallel there. How many times have we done that where you do the dry run? It's like, that was terrible. And then it goes live and you're like, oh, wow, that was pretty good. Huh. How do we do that? All right. I'm going to stream some Dota today, Trent. I got frustrated yesterday and I woke up this morning and all I wanted to do was play Dota. I want a pub already, so I'm on a hot streak. I'm going to treant some bitches. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to watch that. I'll come play one game.
You got time? You want to play one?
Yeah, you want to play one game?
All right, buddy. We could do
All right,
that.
you fire up your stream.
All right, let's wrap up this podcast.
You can take the people.
All right, I got to run another commercial, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna play a pub, folks. We're gonna get it going. All right, bye, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll fire up my stream too.
See you up on the
we'll
next
do the double
podcast.
stream
Yeah,
technology.
fuck yeah. I'm gonna host myself though. So
yeah, sounds good.